Hi, I'm Debbie Hartner. I'm Elsie Johnson. We are two sisters, Southern Cooking. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Today we're celebrating Elsie's birthday. So guess what? She wants to do her own cake. So.
I want it the way I want it. So.
So we're doing a sunflower cake. So this is a regular white vanilla cake, and it has some steps to it, but the batter and the cake itself actually lasts longer, and it's very sturdy. So
Yeah, I'm doing a 2-layer cake, and then I'm going to put strawberry peach preserve layer in the middle of the two cakes. So, and then the buttercream icing, we're going to have sunflowers on it. It's going to be a white icing with sunflowers and some
springtime
decorations
colors
of some sort. We'll figure it out as we go how we do all that. So she's stirring in the
all-purpose flour and the salt and the baking powder.
And then I'm going to start beating the eggs, and then I'll add in my sugar into that.
This is such a good cake, and it's very sturdy, but it does have multiple steps to it. So it can look a little daunting when doing this recipe, but trust me, you'll enjoy it.
Okay, so Elsie just finished up with the egg and sugar batter. Look how white and fluffy it is. It looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
So my point on this here is to also not allow us to have boiled milk. It's just starting to get frothy. And I'm just going to pour a little bit of milk in here, milk and butter. I'm going to turn this off too. And a little vanilla in there and vanilla. So Elsie is tempering right now.
You want to bring the temperature of both things fairly close, because you have eggs in there and you don't want to scramble them.
So this time we're going to, as soon as she finishes tempering, we're going to take the flour and put 1/3 of the flour in. And we're actually going to put everything together and go ahead and start putting the flour in, and then we're going to mix it. So I'm thinking pour this back into there.
Yeah. You want to pour the rest of it in here?
Yeah.
And then I'll stir it together, and then I want to pour it back into here.
And then once she gets this in here, she's going to mix it just for like a moment. Then I'm going to put a little bit of the flour in, and then we're going to do it in 3 stages, where I pour the flour in 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So basically what it's doing is kind of like cooking the eggs a little bit with the milk and butter mixture before we put it in the pan. It's going to bake, so it doesn't matter if it's cooked or done or not, but this is just the process, the scientific process of baking is knowing how to put things together and why they work. All right. And while she's doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and just scoop in about 1/3 of our flour. And she's going to run it on 1 for like 5 seconds, just enough to incorporate it a little bit. And then I'm going to put in some more. And then once you don't see flour anymore, then that's where we're going to go ahead and stop. Because we do not want to release a lot of glutens, because it can really make it very dense. part of the reason why you don't want to mix this on high too is because, well, we don't want to, we are good enough to.
Scrape down the sides and make sure everything is mixed.
And then what we'll do is we'll pour them into our pans, put them in the oven, 350 for 30 minutes. And then we'll take them out, cool them down for 15 minutes, and then
We'll decorate them.
and we'll get ready to ice it down. All right. Now these are going to be some pretty thick layers here because this is quite a bit of volume here. A lot of volume was put into this because of the eggs being whipped. I think you can go back and fill those up again. My goodness. I told you we had a lot of batter. A lot to be said about that. There'll be some thick layers. And what kind of raspberry?
It's no, it's strawberry peach preserves.
In between our layers. Yeah. You just melt it a little bit to where it's easy to spread.
Yeah.
And then once it spreads, then we'll go ahead and put it in between the layers. We want it back to room temperature because we don't want it to
Right.
okay, be too hard and runny.
All right, now let's tap them. Okay.
All right. 350 in the oven for 30 minutes, and we'll show you what it looks like when we get it out and we get ready to
Y'all,
ice.
I am making the buttercream for the birthday cake I'm making. So I have 2 sticks of butter, slightly softened, just from sitting out while we've been here doing other stuff. And I have 2 cups of vegetable shortening. This is a very, very, very good recipe. Don't let the idea of using vegetable shortening turn you off because you do not know it's in there. It just gives it a stability. So, I'll get this in here and then we'll put our salt in and then we'll start beating it, and it will mix for 5 minutes. On medium. Okay. Get all of this off of this spatula. Alright. Put my salt in. Turn the mixer on. Let it start to get mixed a little bit, and then I'll turn the speed up a little bit. Hey y'all, it has mixed for 5 minutes on low speed. I think I originally said medium, but it is low speed. So I'm going to add in my extracts, which is vanilla, almond, and butter flavor in here, and I'm just mixing it until it just has made a few rounds around. I'm going to scrape down the sides real quick. Make sure I get all this extract down in. Okay, turn it back on and let it finish mixing just a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm adding in meringue powder. And I'm going to do half of my powdered sugar, which is a full 2-pound bag. So I'm going to put about half the bag in. Turn it on low.
This is the closest thing that we've ever found that was like a Publix inspired icing recipe. It was so rich, so sweet, delicious, y'all.
Hey y'all, so we are at the second step. So our cakes have completely cooled down. So these cakes are so sturdy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just laying a little circle around the edge of this.
So the jelly will hold inside. That I'm fixing to spoon in there.
So that'll keep it from oozing out. So this buttercream is so good.
It is.
Seriously,
and I'm not a
if you-
buttercream person, and I love it.
And if you like Publix buttercream, this is similar to it. It's not an exact because Publix has a very guarded secret on their icing.
It's delicious.
It's good. It is pretty darn good. So this here will keep the cakes from it leaking out. And this is a very sturdy icing because this icing will stand up for several days actually. And this cake is usually good at room temperature out on the counter for 4 days.
Right.
And it will taste just as fresh. So this is a great cake recipe. If you are cooking or baking something in advance and you have to wait a couple days, this is a good sturdy recipe for you. So I think I might have gave you a little too much jelly, but
Yeah, I'm gonna probably not put all this on there, but I'm gonna, some of the areas are a little thinner. This is probably gonna soak down a little bit into the cake, which is fine.
but the little edge that I put on the cake will keep it actually from sliding off.
All right.
All right, so how are we gonna do this here? Let's flip it over. Don't see it. Just drop it on down. Okay, we'll have to move it in. We're gonna crumb coat it, so we'll go ahead and just put this on here and get this ready to.
And then we'll let it set up for a few minutes in the refrigerator. And then we'll,
while it's setting up, then we'll get our other icing bagged up and everything ready
Right.
to pipe on.
I made a yellow icing, a green icing, and a brown icing. The green for the leaves, the yellow and the brown for the sunflowers.
Okay, you ready to crumb coat the sides?
Yep.
Let me just spread this out a little bit here.
And we have it on a turntable so we can turn it fairly easily.
You can get these on Amazon for like really, really super cheap, so you don't have to spend a lot of money for stuff like this. This year, I think it was like $19 or something. And if you're baking a lot of cakes, it's well worth it. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna take a little bit off of here and just put it on the side. You can smooth it out.
Yep. Hey y'all, I'm so excited to be trying to decorate this cake. So we're gonna put one more layer of white icing on it. We had it in the refrigerator for about an hour, I think, after we put our crumb coating on. So we're gonna put this on, and
I'm gonna just go around the edge here real quick and then we can take it and do what we need to do, because that seems to be where most of the areas was that we needed to add extras on.
right.
So this is Elsie's birthday cake. And and
Everybody laughed at me because I was making my own, but I'm like, I want a specific design.
she did this last year too.
I don't remember what I had last year.
I think you had a chocolate cake and you put, you had a chocolate cake and you did like a raspberry icing on the top.
Oh, okay.
I think it was last year.
Yeah. I just not, my memory is not the greatest in the world.
So right now I'm just trying to
Level it and smooth it.
smooth it in. So how you do this is lay your bench scraper right against it and just twirl your cake. So it helps to, it doesn't have a lot of zigzags and jags and everything all over the place. So what do you think? Mom's over here with us today. She came over to keep us entertained and also to make sure we're doing justice to her recipes, because we're doing one of her recipes today with the chicken and noodle casserole. So
Guess I need to go to the store.
she's going to the store.
All right, spread that out a little. And just spread it all around.
Alright. Okay, I think just add a little bit in there.
Right there, let me get a little.
Gonna be so good. This icing is freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay.
So
Yeah, there we go. So a little bit there, just lightly.
there you go.
All right.
I'm not going to do a whole lot to the top of this here because we are going to be putting down design on it.
All right. So this is my little center. I'm just making a little bit of an indent there so I have an idea where to put the center of the sunflower. And then I'm going to actually wipe over that a little bit and straighten that out. I want to me a little more to the center. And this is going to be the starting edge of the exterior of the sunflower. Okay. All right, I am going to start piping the petals on. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. By making the little impressions in it, that gives me a starting point and an ending point to know where I want to go to start the petals. I'm just making these petals a little longer. Okay, now I'm going to try and build some petals up. And I'm just going between the petals to kind of like fill in, make them fuller.
We're gonna put this back into the refrigerator to allow it to set.
Yeah. Okay, and now just put the little center in.
I'm gonna actually build this up too, because you want to see some height to it. All right.
Very pretty. Okay, now I'm going to try and make some leaves around it. I think that looks very pretty. Now I want to do the trim around the edges.
You need a delicious recipe for a cake, icing, and a great idea. Elsie always dreamed of having a sunflower cake, so here it is.
am Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
We're two sisters Southern cooking.
And we thank you for visiting our page. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.